The community needed to have a voice, to voice different issues that they could not voice through the public radio stations or other private radio stations. They also needed to have certain programs that they could not produce in private stations around or in public stations. So it began in the year 2006 with the community coming together, forming a committee, a management committee. Then later there was an organization that was formed, an umbrella organization, where the station was registered by the Communications Commission of Kenya, which issued the frequency, and by 2007 the radio was on air on July 30th. Initially, I didn't know that I had a potential in broadcasting. That is the first thing. So when this idea of having our own voice came up, I became interested. I became part of the committee. But then later on I said, no, I need to try myself and see if I have a potential in broadcast. Now, my first broadcast was on news. And actually I did it better. I didn't expect that. So from there, I gained a lot of interest. But then, what interests me most in community radio is that it is the people's voice, by the people themselves, and to the people themselves. I would say that the radio has highly changed the attitude of the people around. I'm not afraid to say that the region where I come from, my community, it's a community whereby people throw stones, burn vehicle tires on the roads during demonstrations. And it's an area that is full of demonstrations. When people are preparing for demonstration, even women would carry stones in their pouches, and men would turn their neckties and their belts into slings for throwing big stones. But since the inception of the community radio, there have been changes. People discuss this. Prior to this, there was a program called Kazi kwa Vijana. It is work for youths in a Kiswahili language. But then it so happened that there were issues and youths were preparing to demonstrate. One of the days, our area district commissioner came to the station, addressed the issue before the day of demonstration, and this one cooled everything. But in other districts, that didn't happen. There were demonstrations, more so like the Kisumu district. Youth demonstrated. They wanted their money, and the money was not there, so they had to go to the streets. They had to break a few things. So it called for the police to come and quell the violence. But in our case, the DC came and spoke on the radio with the people about this, and all was well. Actually, there's a very big difference. First of all, I would say, like in Kenya, we have the 3 tiers of radios, where we have the public radio, the public broadcaster, we have the private radio, and we have the community radio. There's much difference because the public radio is funded by the government. It is also used to sell policies or communicate policies of the government to the people. And at times, I may say that it has some slight influence, like initially it used to have some slight influence earlier on maybe the programming. But you see, it doesn't go to the grassroots and address people's issues at the grassroots. Same applies to the commercial stations, whereby a lot of music is played. They do much of advertisements, but programming actually is not the people's program. They only bring on air what they feel they should bring. This is contrary to what we do at our community radio, whereby our programs are generated within the community by the community members for themselves. At the same time, the music we play is local music because we promote local talents. Another thing that we do is that we address our issues within our level, but then this is used as a kind of a platform to forward the same information to the government. Well, in our station, we have 70% for our local language, which is Luo language. We have 10% for Swahili language and 20% for English language. The reason being that in my region, apart from our local language, people speak and understand English better than Swahili language. It's very difficult for them to pronounce or speak Swahili language. That's why we give Swahili language 10%, because we are not only Luos in our region. There are people from other communities who speak Swahili, who speak English. We also have foreigners who visit our station, and some of them do programs with us, so they do them in either Swahili or English. When we use the local language, we draw the attention of so many people. We draw the understanding of so many people, both the literate and the illiterate, because even the old grandfathers and the grandmothers, they can listen and contribute to the station. Given that technology has now improved in Kenya, whereby almost every household has a mobile telephone, they make calls, and out of this, we do an assessment and realize that it reaches so many people. They contribute, both the literate and the illiterate. But when it comes to Kiswahili language or English language, you will realize that it limits only people who are either exposed to urban areas who can speak Swahili, or people who went to school who could speak English. So the local language has really promoted participation of the community in the station. I would say that, for one, a few things that they brought to me. One, I would say that I have improved in my technology, like coming up and making on my own a small transmitter. I came to understand the Freedom Phone. It is a feedback system that can be used in a station. And in fact, when I get back to my country, I'll try to modify what I saw here using our local routers, if it could work as a Freedom Phone, going with their software. If it doesn't work, we will have to now adopt the Freedom Phone itself and use it back at home. Well, on my side, what I brought to them is my experiences, and I also brought to them my attention. Yeah, so I shared my experiences with them. Some of them would even wish and are willing to visit my country, to visit my station, and learn more about how we go about the sustainability of our project, of our station, programming in our station, and also actually just general capacity building of the staffs in our station.